Okay, let's try this again one more time. Buddy says hello. It says excellent condition now, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be excellent in a couple minutes. So while I wait for anybody to get here, I'm going to just, I guess, do some research. I don't know. Can't play anything because, well, I can't play anything on YouTube because it's censored. So I can't play music. Can't play funny videos. So get in trouble for that. So I guess we're just forced to stare at my cartoon self. Until then. Oh, there's the notification. It says good condition, so it's not excellent, but it's good. Okay guys, so in previous videos I have pointed out several examples of symbolism, clues, and breadcrumbs throughout the case, all of which have been left by the ones in control of the narrative. They will often leave these clues in orchestrated events and essentially tell us what they're planning to do next. These hints can be found in movies, television, or inside the actual event itself. For example, in the Watts case, there's an overwhelming amount of predictive programming in the television show American Horror Story, and symbolism in repeated names or words such as the name Lee. That being said, there seems to be several things in the Watts case that reference power, energy, or electricity. The most obvious one can be found in a last name that everyone is very familiar with. Chris and Shanann's last name is Watts. The watt is a unit of power. In the International System of Units, it is defined as a derived unit of 1 joule per second and is used to quantify the rate of energy transfer. The mistress, Nicole Kessinger's father, Dwayne Kessinger, has a watt meter as his cover page on Facebook. Now, allegedly, Dwayne Kessinger is an electrical technician of some sort, so the fact that he has a watt meter for his cover picture makes sense. However, when you add in all the American Horror Story connections, the breadcrumbs, and clues they have incorporated into the case, it becomes just a little bit too coincidental. Chris Watts worked for Anadarko Petroleum and allegedly dumped the bodies of his 2 children in separate side-by-side oil tank batteries at an oil site called Survey 319. A battery is a device consisting of 1 or more electrochemical cells with external connections for powering electrical devices such as flashlights, mobile phones, and electric cars. I know what you're thinking. An oil tank battery is not the same as an electronic battery, but subliminally, it is still referencing a battery. His alleged mistress, Nicole Kessinger, asked Chris what the lyrics were to the Metallica song called Battery. And even though Chris was a huge Metallica fan and even had one of their logos tattooed on his back, he still had to look up the lyrics to the song. Lashing out the action, returning a reaction, weak are ripped and torn away, hypnotizing power, crushing all that cower, battery is here to stay. Smashing through the boundaries, lunacy has found me, cannot stop the battery. Pounding out aggression, turns into obsession, cannot kill the battery. Cannot kill the family, battery is found in me. Crushing all deceivers, mashing non-believers, never-ending potency, hungry violent seeker, feeding off the weaker, breeding on insanity. In 1984, Metallica released an album called Ride the Lightning, the album cover illustrating an electric chair being struck by lightning. The song is about an innocent person who was convicted of murder and sent to the electric chair. The title of the song was inspired by Stephen King's 1978 book The Stand, centered around a weaponized strain of influenza that kills almost the entire population. Let's not forget that Shanann was also born in 1984 and the season of 1984 from American Horror Story. Why does the year 1984 seem to keep popping up with this case? I do have a theory on that, however, I am unfortunately not permitted to speak about it on this platform. Lightning is the occurrence of a natural electrical discharge of very short duration and high voltage between a cloud and the ground or within a cloud, accompanied by a bright flash and typically also thunder. Again, we have another reference to electricity and power. A person by the name Trent Bolt went to law enforcement and claimed to have a sexual relationship with Chris. Bolt is another reference to electricity and power, such as a bolt of lightning or a bolt of energy. Chris gave his mistress, Nicole Kessinger, a card for her birthday. In the card, Chris writes, "Your energy is so insane. You heat me up, you make me melt, and then you cool me down like rain." Chris also writes, "You are truly an amazing, inspirational, and electric woman that takes my breath away every time I see you." In Chris's second card to Kessinger, he writes, "The first time we kissed, I knew I had met the most amazing, unique, and electric woman ever." Shanann worked for a multi-level marketing company called Lavelle that sells nutritional and weight loss supplements. Their products are said to give you energy and live a healthier life. Green coffee bean extract is one of the main ingredients in Lavelle's Thrive products. Green coffee bean extract is known to help people feel less tired and increase energy levels because it contains the stimulant caffeine, which gives you energy. So these are just a few examples of electricity, power, and energy being referenced in the Watts case, and I'm sure I will come across more as time goes on. Before I end this video, there's something else I would like to point out. If you follow my channel, you will have heard me mention several times that almost everything they have showed us in this case means something, whether it be symbolic, a clue, or some sort of breadcrumb. So that being said, let's take a look at Chris's interview with CBI.
Do you want Gatorade?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I figured maybe you want some.
Water. Maybe.
Maybe? Okay. Do you want a Mountain Dew?
Oh, no, Mountain Dew.
You stay away from that
I've
stuff?
had soda in like years.
Well, don't start now, right? Do you have any bad habits?
I used to, like Oreos and soda were my go-to.
During the pregnancy?
Yep.
What kind of soda did you like?
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew?
That's what I'm like.
Everyone at work makes fun of me for drinking it.
No, like my favorite was like the Baja Blast Mountain Dew.
Oh, see, I didn't like that. Because don't they still have that at
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell?
That's where it was.
That's right.
Steak quesadilla and Mountain Dew Baja Blast was my go-to.
Do you want Gatorade?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I figured maybe you want some.
Water. Maybe.
Maybe? Okay. Do you want a Mountain Dew? Do you want a Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew?
Oh, no, I'm doing it.
You stay away from that
I haven't
stuff?
had soda in like years.
Well, don't start now, right? Do you have any bad habits?
I used to, like Oreos and soda were my go-to.
During the pregnancy?
Yep.
What kind of soda did you like?
I'll do.
Now, did you?
That's what I'm like.
Everyone at work makes fun of me for drinking it.
No, like my favorite was like the Baja Blast. No, like my favorite was like the Baja Blast. No, like my favorite was the Baja Blast. Blast. Mountain Dew.
Oh, see, I didn't like that. Because don't they still have that at
Taco Bell?
Taco Bell.
That's where it was.
That's right.
Steak quesadilla and Mountain Dew Baja Blast was my go-to.
That silly and insignificant Mountain Dew can, to some people, is actually an important and very telling clue. With all of the electricity, power, and energy references in this case, I believe the powers that be are essentially telling us that they are using dew on the public. This is where I would usually go into details and explain my previous statement. However, this is another one of those topics that is not permitted to speak about on this platform. If you are not familiar with or have never heard of dew, you will unfortunately have to look up the information yourself this time. Guys, so in part 1, I pointed out several electricity, energy, and power references found in this case. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend watching it. Now, if you've seen any of my videos or listened to any of my live streams, you will have most likely heard me mention that the majority of what they put in this case means something. The people that orchestrate these events will sometimes tell us what they are planning to do next. In my video titled Time for a Reset, I showed an image of Shanann holding the Thrive magazine that says Time for a Reset, telling us that this great reset we have been hearing so much about was already planned for us. I also made a video titled What's the Agenda, showing how they left us clues that the whole virus thing was also planned. Now let's continue with more of these electricity, power, and energy references in this case. Now, as I mentioned before, a lot of what they put in this case means something and it is significant. Now, it's important to remember that things can have more than one meaning. For example, in the discovery, Chris searched for prices on an Audi Q7. So, you can assume that Chris is most likely interested in buying that specific vehicle, considering he is looking at prices on it. However, if you know how these people operate with their numerology, symbolism, and codes, then it more than likely represents something else. So, out of curiosity, I did an internet search for Q7. As expected, there were many results for an Audi Q7, but there was something else that came up in that search. This is the Amelia Wind Farm and another one of their breadcrumbs that led me to another energy reference with just a one-step search. The Amelia Wind Farm is an offshore wind farm in the Netherlands. So not only do we have another major reference to power, but I want to take a closer look at the name itself. But before I do that, I just want to go over how they've told us that this case is a lie. The people who orchestrate the Watts case told us that the whole thing is a lie. This is also the reason why there are so many people in this case who have the name Lee. I went over this extensively in my video, The Names in Their Game. There are different variations for the name Lee, such as L-E-E, L-I, and L-I-E. Now, L-I-E is also the English word for lie, meaning to deceive. So what they have done and are still doing is incorporating these 3 different name variations into these events. There are a couple examples that I forgot to mention in the original video I made pointing out the significance of all the people with the name Lee. Let's take a look at a clip of Chris's news interview.
Shanann went to Where'd you get that shirt?
Oh, this is I think she got it off Amazon, but this is my favorite college sports team.
Wasn't she just there?
She was just in North Carolina. Yep. So she actually probably got it from there. Usually she gets stuff from Amazon, but this one, I like these shirts a lot.
Shanann went to. Where'd you get that shirt? Shanann went to. Where'd you get that shirt? Wasn't she just there?
She was just in North Carolina. Yep. So she actually probably got it.
Why would the reporter start asking Chris a question, stop abruptly, and then change her question? And not only that, but how is knowing where he got his shirt from going to help find Shanann and the girls if they were missing? It doesn't, because it's insignificant where he got his shirt from. The reporter asked that question for a specific reason, which I always thought was an odd question, but wasn't sure why. Until I realized that they were essentially telling us that the entire thing is a lie. They wanted us to see that Chris is wearing his favorite North Carolina shirt. North Carolina. Now let's take a look at what Cindy Watts is wearing for her televised interview. As you can see, Cindy is wearing a North Carolina sweatshirt. Is this something that you would wear to a televised interview? I wouldn't. So either this family really loves North Carolina, or they are subliminally telling us that this entire thing is one big lie. When Shanann was on her Thrive trip, she went with friends to the Thirsty Lion. Thirsty Lion. Now there's a YouTube channel called RV Truth. He has been doing an excellent job at exposing these orchestrated events and how they incorporate their symbolism, numerology, gematria, and Easter eggs into these events. I'm going to show you a clip from one of his recent videos so that you can see that, one, I am not the only one who has noticed. Sorry, I'm gonna not play this part on a live stream because I don't want to risk it. I think I might be able to get away with it in a video, but this is another one of those events that you're not allowed to question. So I'll just maybe talk about it for a second. Hello, everybody. By the way, nobody was here, so I didn't want to talk to myself. So I figured, hey, I'll just play a couple of my videos and wait for people to get here. Figured everybody hasn't seen him anyway, so. So this channel that I just mentioned is called RV Truth. He has been pointing out the inconsistencies and symbolism and what he likes to call Easter eggs in I call them breadcrumbs, other people call them Easter eggs, but and some of these other orchestrated events outside that are happening not just in true crime but pretty much all over the place. So a lot of the symbolism he points out and the numerology is the same that I've been pointing out with this Watts case. So as I mentioned in the video, Shanann went to the Thirsty Lion in Scottsdale when she went to Phoenix for her Thrive convention. Lions are also, or the lion is also very I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Not cherished, but it's found a lot in Freemasonic text. Let's just say that. And so in the video, RV Truth is pointing out that the tattoo on his chest, and then here he references, which is really interesting because, so in a lot of RV Truths, if Jenny May's here, I don't think Jenny May is here, but if she is here, maybe she can put he talks a lot about the white horse symbolism that you'll find in other orchestrated events as well. So it's interesting that the Watts case took place in Colorado, and of course you have the Denver Broncos, which is their logo is a white horse. So again, in this other orchestrated event, you can see the white horse symbolism. He also talks about the duality of letters and numbers, and how CC equals 33. Here again we have Ash. Sorry, my mouse is all messed up. Ashley. Here he goes into more of the lion symbolism. Gematria, numerology. Masonic compass with the lion. Here's his channel right here, RV Truth. He does great work, so definitely go and check him out and subscribe. And if you do, in a lot of his recent videos that he has, not a lot, but the last maybe 3 or 4, spot on when it comes to what I've been talking about with the Watts case. So it's a good way to see that I'm not the only one who is pointing out these inconsistencies in this symbolism and the numerology in these events. So I definitely encourage you to go over there and watch it, just to see that I'm not again the only one talking about it. So okay. Now let's take a closer look at the name of the wind farm, Amalia. Amalia, or Amalia. Right off the bat, you have that L-I in the name that both myself and RV Truth have pointed out, but there's more. Now let's take a look at a clip from Nick and Amanda Thayer's interview. The name Amalie is another variation of the name Amalia.
But yeah, so you're going through, all these pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny because, if I didn't know, if I just saw this for the first time, I might think they're your kids.
Yeah, I mean, they did look a lot like Amelie. The blonde hair and just beautiful.
Did you remember that Nick and Amanda Thayer's daughter's name is Amalie, spelled Amalie? Once again, we see the word lie. Something else that I found interesting, here's a website that talks about the company that built the wind farm called Connex. Because they're telling us it's all a con, we have been conned. In part 1, I mentioned that I believe the powers that be were telling us that they're using something called DEW, or some type of energy against us. After seeing all the power, electricity, and energy references in the case, I told a few people that I believe that the major power outages were going to happen. There are others as well that believe the same thing, and here's why.
This is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a dark winter. A dark winter.
Is promising a long, dark, painful winter. Did you see him at the debate? Did anybody see the debate by any chance? No, he said long, dark winter. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
We remain in a very dark winter.
So last night we heard Joe Biden talk about the dark winter that he said is coming. And the president said he didn't believe that the winter would be dark. He said that the end is coming. He said that the end is coming. The end is coming to the virus.
Plan for a dark winter. Plan for a dark winter.
But the dark winter was not the only reason why I came to that conclusion. It was because all of the power and electricity references in the case. There was a major power outage in Pakistan on January 9th, and Pakistan was still without power on January 10th. It just so happens that the capital city of Pakistan is called the City of Lights. There again, you see the L-I in the name. There was another major power outage on January 10th in Texas. Shanann Watts' birthday is January 10th. Then there was the most recent power outage that froze all of the wind farms in Texas. Remember the wind farm that I just mentioned a little bit ago in this video?
Winter storms in Texas have left over 2 million people without power as their wind turbines are frozen solid. Former Texas Governor and Energy Secretary Rick Perry said this is the risk of green energy.
You need to have a diversity of
Definitely something to keep in mind. Now, does this prove that Broomfield, Colorado
of wind farms out in West Texas that are frozen up? All of that wind energy was lost.
Chris and Shanann stayed with their friends, the Dietz, while their house on Saratoga Trail was being built. If you search for 3040 Trinity Loop, Broomfield, Colorado, several real estate websites still have staged photos from when the Dietz allegedly lived there. Not only is the child's name on the wall an acronym for the word lie, but there is an image that shows a Texas wall hanging. Now, does this prove that the powers that be are responsible for what happened in Texas? No. But again, if you know how these people work, it's definitely something to keep in mind. These people are very powerful, no pun intended, and have the ability to make almost anything they want happen. Before I end this video, I want to show you something I just recently found. The following audio clip is from Chris's interview in Wisconsin.
The officers, saw what they saw. You mentioned that you took the ring off her finger. And then the book, did you throw that in the trash? Okay. There was another book, Body of Evidence. Does that sound familiar?
That you had in your cell.
A body of that, Patricia Cornwell?
Maybe. Does that sound right?
Probably.
Did it in Hope County?
What was that about?
That was just one they gave me.
Who gave it to you?
The, deputies.
Not your attorneys, or?
Oh, no, they couldn't give me books.
Oh.
No, any book that I had was given to me by their book cart that they had.
So you didn't ask for that book, or?
No, they just kind of give me, like, hey, I read some Brad Thor books. He's like a military guy. And Patricia Cornwell, my grandma always read her books and thought it was, she loved those books. And I'm not sure if that was probably one of the first books, not the first book I read there, but probably the second book I read there. But it was like they gave me, here's 4 books, choose.
What other book did you read? Do you remember?
The first book they gave me when I was in Suicide Watch was, I don't know why, but Murder at Something. And I was like, I looked at him and was like, that's the one we got. I'm like, okay. But,
They handed you that book by itself, no other choices?
Nah, the next book I got, another guy that was, I guess they're overcrowded there, a guy was sleeping on a cot outside my door. He's like, here, try this one. It was one that was based like in the 1800s. It's more of like a situational book, like a time period book. So that one's a little more calm with that one. That was the first book they gave me.
You don't remember what it was called? Murder at Something?
We were at the Truman Center.
Truman Center?
Yeah, I think it was, remember the Kennedy Center. I think it was written by Margaret Truman.
Did you read it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it good?
It was decent.
Remember how I told you that many of the things they put in this case mean something? Well, I did an internet search for Margaret Truman, and something immediately caught my eye. Margaret Truman wrote a book called Murder on Capitol Hill. On January 6, 2021, alleged Trump rioters stormed Capitol Hill, which resulted in the death of 1 police officer and 4 rioters. They told us that the riot and the murders at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. were going to happen 2 years before it took place. It's time people start waking up to the lies of this orchestrated American horror story called the Watts case. Alright, so, sorry I had to skip through some more of the video because, I don't know, it just makes me nervous with the Fox News and everything, the clips, so, I probably shouldn't even have played any of my videos, but, what are you going to do? If I get another strike, then it is what it is. So. And I apologize if you guys have already seen that video, but again, it doesn't hurt to watch them again. So, yeah, thanks for being here, guys. I didn't expect anybody to show up. So, well, someone. Yeah, they totally lead him, like, even with Kessinger, but especially with Chris, in all of his interviews, they would finish his sentences for him. They're like, oh, was it about this? You know, when they're just perfect example, when they're asking about what books he read at Will County, she's like, oh, what was it called? And he's like, I think it was called, like, I think it's by Margaret Truman or something. And they're like, oh yeah, was it good? What was it about? You know, it's like, why are you there asking Chris about what books he read at Will County? I thought you guys were there to figure out figure out who he is or whatever, what you guys can do better in case, you know, they come across another monster like him in the future. So what does asking him about macaroni and cheese and whether he drank white milk or chocolate milk, it's that, that interview it's so bad. It's, it really irks me. But, it was definitely done on purpose. I'm not sure exactly what the reason was. And I know it wasn't to go there to, get to know Chris better. Or in my personal opinion, to, ask him about any accomplices, simply because why would, and I don't know why the chat's not working. It was just the chat's supposed to be on the screen right now and it's not working. Of course. Maybe it'll pop up in a second. I don't know. But, so there's a part in that interview in Wisconsin where, Coder asks Chris, he says, so a lot of people have been talking and saying, oh, we should look into Nikki Kessinger. We think that she might have had, you guys probably know what part I'm talking about. And, he goes, do you think, so pretty much asking Chris, do you think that we need to look into, Nicole Kessinger anymore as far as like, being involved? Why would they ask him that? Why would they need advice from, or try to get it, or to get some sort of information from someone involved? That not only that, but if we go off the official narrative, why would they even believe him in the first place? Even if he did say, yeah, I think you should, or you shouldn't. Hey, Elizabeth. I mean, they literally did. They literally would finish all of his, pretty much lead and finish most of his sentences for him. I don't know how many times. It's like, again, if you're there to understand him as, and to, pick his brain, then why are you continuously finishing this guy's sentences for him? Or if you were there to get more information out of him, again, why would you finish his sentences for him? Like, oh, and how did that make you feel, Chris? And how did this make you feel? Why not just lay out a couch, or, put a couch right there in the prison, right? In the prison. And the guy can lay on the couch, and Tammy Lee can be the psychiatrist. Tell me, how does that make you feel, Christopher? How does it make you feel when, you found out today that you weren't going to be able to have any chocolate milk today, but that there was only white milk available today? upset you, Christopher? Be honest. Just, this is between you and I and the other 2 FBI agents here. How does that make you feel, Chris? It's so... Oh, this case. It's just so much. There's so much. It's all mockery. They're literally mocking us, and they think we're stupid. But we're not. And they're not hiding it. They put it in plain sight. All this symbolism that I've pointed out, the numerology, all of the predictive programming connections with American Horror Story. It's just not, it's, until somebody can give me or explain to me how it's possible that there are so many connections to American Horror Story in this case, as far as names, as far as pretty much mirroring the whole Watts narrative from start to finish, even up to telling us what happened to Shanann at the end of season 9. How is it possible? I mean, we can do it here right now if you want. I will open up my office and we'll type out all of these. I've already went over them on with those 2 live streams that I did on the connections a few weeks ago, but if we need to go over them again so that you guys can see that it's just not coincidental. And again, until someone can give me some sort of explanation as to how almost every single person involved in this case also has the same name as characters in the American Horror Story show. I mean, I've seen a lot of predictive programming, and I probably shouldn't even be saying those 2 words right now, but I'm not going to keep switching up my words and trying to speak in code. It's ridiculous now. It's been ridiculous, but they're just words, Why are they so threatened? But I've seen a lot of predictive programming and have never seen as much in other cases that I've seen in this case. I mean, the lengths that they went to incorporate all these names into the show and vice versa into the Watson narrative is crazy. And it's not even just the American Horror Story connections. You have also all the other connections that I pointed out as far as officers in this case that share the same names as other high-profile serial killers or murderers. You have the reference in the discovery about the Zodiac, the called in the anonymous tip that talks about the Zodiac killer in American Horror Story. They have an entire episode based on the Zodiac killer in the season of Cult, and I could go on and on and on and on. But you have Officer Katie, and I always say his name wrong, or the last name wrong. It's Ukrainian, but it's like Tak. It's like T. I'm gonna spell it wrong, but it's in my videos. But what are the odds that there is? I think she's in Longmont Police Department. I think she's K9 unit, but she has the same last name as a high-profile serial killer in Ukraine that killed 23 women. You have Trooper Otto Wilson. Otto Wilson killed 2 prostitutes, and he has his first and last name. You have Officer Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy. And I know that I say that they put it in plain sight, but I mean, that would be, Ted Bundy as one of the people the officers in this case, if they really, Ted Bundy, that would be so obvious. don't think they want to be that obvious. But Ted Bundy, and it's not just, you know, if I was trying to say that there was just, that this whole thing was orchestrated because one of the officers that was involved in this case or that worked on it, his name kind of sounds like Ted Bundy, that would be obviously ridiculous. That's just one example, and it's not even exact. But you have to remember that you have to add in all of the other connections that I've pointed out in this case, and there's an overwhelming amount. And I still to this day have not had anybody say, look, Megan, this is why there's so many connections to American Horror Story. This is why the American Horror Story trailer came on Nate's television and practically mirrored the Watts narrative. This is why there's so many people that bear the same name as serial killers, and why I keep seeing other references to the Scott Peterson case, to the Barbie doll killers, Paul Bernardo, and what is her name? Carla Homolka. Is it Carla? I don't. Homolka is her last name. And that's just some of them. I mean, I've never seen so much, and that's probably why this case is so successful, as far as the psychological aspect of it goes. I'm just reading the chat. I'm going to try to work on that. So. Yeah, the masks at the sand dunes are crazy. Lutia. Yep, more predictive programming for sure. And I'm sorry you guys don't have anything to look at, but I'm not understanding why the chat's not on the screen, but it was earlier. Not really sure. I do want to try something real quick, just for fun here. We're going to do a little poll here. So it should come up in the chat, and then I guess just follow the instructions. Never done this before, but I just thought it'd be something different. Hey, Rear Naked Bloke. Hello, Gwen. Let's see what happens. Never done it before. Okay, so a poll has opened for what do you think is going on with this case. Use, I don't know what you're supposed to put. Okay, so I think you have to put in exclamation point vote and then put hashtag and then your answer. So cover up, orchestrated, or unsure. I don't know. I'll try it. See, I've never done this before. So exclamation point vote and then hashtag. I don't think it worked. I probably didn't set it up right, but. Oh, okay, it did work. Cool. Okay, yeah, so you just put it, so you have to do, like, exactly how I did it, I think. So you have to do exclamation point, vote, and then space, and then hashtag, and then your answer. No. Or maybe it might work. I think you guys have to put a space. So like how Elizabeth did it in JC. But it might work. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. It's just something different. There you go. And then it should give me the some sort of conclusion, but I don't know. Number 3 was unsure, Swamp Lover. Hey, Monica. So why you guys are voting still, I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's going to give me the results. It should. Hey, Mark. I'm not sure how to view them, but I want to pull something up that I did bring up in, did I bring it? Yeah, I brought it up in one of my videos a while back. But just want to make sure this is the, yeah, okay. Cool. Turn off all ads. Yeah, that would be nice. Okay. So it's taking your guys' votes, but I don't know how to view the results. They're gonna make me add it myself too. I think the there should be like a timer and it deja vu. What happened? Oh, how was your golf trip, Mark? It wasn't too hot for you, I hope. It just now got hot, like in the last couple days, so unfortunately. Okay, so well, that was fun. I don't know how to, maybe it'll, once the time's up, it'll tell us the results. I'm not really sure, but it was just a test run. So okay, I'm not gonna play this clip just because I don't know, it makes me nervous. Okay, so do you guys remember, you vote on no more voting? It's just for fun. I don't know, Lucia. I just wanted to get where you guys kind of were as far as the case goes, but, and just to try it, because I've never done it before. Okay, so do you guys remember the part in Chris's interview where Tammy Lee is, she asks him about, or she tells him, she goes, did you hear about the the guy in Aurora, in Aurora who killed that family with a ball-peen hammer. And Chris says, and she says that, or no. So Tammy says, did you hear about the guy who killed that family in Aurora with a ball-peen hammer? And Chris goes, mm-hmm. Like really, you know, really low. You can barely hear it. But he goes, mm-hmm. And she said the mom and dad didn't survive, and only the daughter survived. So she has no mom and dad, no parents. She was all alone, right? That was another one of those moments in this case where I said, why would Tammy ask Chris about that murder in Aurora, right? Because, as I mentioned before several times, that the majority of what they showed us in this case, it means something. So although it might just seem like normal and she's just simply asking Chris about a murder, as far as like the interrogation goes, it might seem like that, but if you just do a little research, you'll find that there's more to it than just that. So I decided to look up that murder case that Tammy was asking Chris about. So I'm just going to read this a little bit, because this is one of the bigger, in my opinion, connections where it's still shocking to me. And you know, and I'm the one that noticed it. So a while ago, and it's still shocking to me. But okay, so oh crap, I think I just clicked on the advertisement. Hold on, let me this is so annoying. Does this go away? Probably not, huh? Okay, whatever. Okay. Nearly 2 years after a DNA test linked a Nevada inmate to a series of horrific 1984, wink wink, hint hint, you have 1984, the season 1984 in American Horror Story. You have 1984, the year that Shanann was born. Several times 1984 has come up in this case. And as far as what's going on in the world right now. So a DNA test linked a Nevada inmate to a series of horrific 1984 hammer attacks in the Denver area. He is scheduled to have his first oh my god, this is so annoying. I knew that was going to happen. I mean, this is crazy. How are you supposed to read their stupid freaking article that's probably fake anyways? They have all this crap on here. Oh my gosh. Sorry, it drives me crazy. Court hearing in Colorado on Tuesday morning. The preliminary hearing scheduled for Alex Christopher, that's weird, Ewing, 59, will be the first time evidence has been detailed in a courtroom that links him to the murders of Bruce and Deborah. That's interesting. I didn't even notice that before. Bruce and Deborah Bennett and their 7-year-old daughter, Melissa, in Aurora. Okay, so in the hearing, if the hearing is held, Ewing's lawyers have filed a motion to delay it. Arpajo County District Judge Michelle Amico will then rule on whether prosecutors have enough to take the case to trial, and whether that evidence is so convincing that Ewing should be kept behind bars without bail. So here is the shocker. Ewing has another preliminary hearing scheduled June 29th in Jefferson County District Court in the rape and murder of Patricia Louise Smith in Lakewood, who was killed January 10th, 1984, 6 days before the attack on the Bennetts. Who do we know that was born on that specific day and specific year in this case? I don't know. What do you mean? What's looping? I don't know what's looping. What? The poll's looping? I shut it off, so. So, when I saw this, I was like, and by this point, it was already, I was already at the point where I've been finding all these connections to other, high profile murder cases that have been incorporated into the Watts narrative. Hate doing life my way. So I'm like, what are the odds? Why would Tammy ask Chris about specifically that case? Because it didn't make sense. What in the hell does that have to do with what's going on with Chris? He didn't go around killing random people with a hammer. So it just really stood out to me as odd. And so again, I searched it, and here we find that this guy killed this woman on the day that Shanann was born, January 10th, 1984, the day. I don't know how many times this has to happen for it to not be coincidental anymore. And it's absolutely insane how many of these there are. Did you know that Chris has the same birthday as H.H. Holmes, the serial killer? H.H. Holmes, like 1800s, killed a lot of people. May 16th, they have the same birthday. What are the odds that Chris and somebody else shares another connection to a prolific serial killer? And that this guy that Tammy mentioned, this murderer, just happens to kill a woman on the exact same day that Shanann was born. I know I'm repeating myself, but it needs to be repeated, because this isn't coincidental anymore. It's just not. And if you think about how nothing adds up in this case, and then you add all these other connections to it, and all these coincidences that are no longer coincidental, it should, in my opinion, change, or at least give you a different outlook on the case, if anything. So let me see if there's another connection that makes it even less coincidental. Huh, that's funny. I didn't even know this. Ewing, who was born in North Carolina. Who do we know that was born in, or no, not born, I guess Chris was born allegedly in Oklahoma, I think. But we have a North Carolina connection again. Spent much of his childhood in Northern California, had a series of petty crimes on his record when he arrived in Colorado in the summer of 1983. That's when, according to court records, he obtained a Colorado driver's license. On January 4th, 1984, a man attacked a sleeping couple with a hammer, fleeing after he was challenged. They both suffered head injuries but recovered. Okay, let me try. I think Connie Bennett, Vanessa, okay. I don't know if it's in this article, but the woman who this guy Ewing killed on Shanann's birthday, the day that she was born, her mother's name, and it's in my video, but her mother's name is Constance. And if you've seen my American Horror Story videos, you will know that we are first introduced to the character Constance in the very first season of American Horror Story called Murder House. Constance was the Harmon's neighbor. And so what are the odds that this woman that was killed by this Ewing guy on the same day again, I know I'm sounding repetitive, the same day that Shanann was born, and Tammy Lee just so happens to ask Chris about this case in his interview, her mother just happens to be, her name is Constance, and then Constance is the character in American Horror Story. And how, I mean, I don't know how many women you know named Constance, but I've never personally met anyone named Constance. It doesn't mean that you guys haven't, but I just don't really think it's considered, or that it is a very common name. Let's just say that. So I just wanted to show you guys that because I know that a lot of you probably have not seen all my videos. But if you haven't, I highly recommend. You don't have to like go and watch like all my live streams or anything, but you don't have to go and watch any of them if you don't want to. But these connections are super important, and they are really the I don't know, like backbone, is that the terminology you want to call it, of my theory, because unfortunately with my theory, I can't, well, one, since nothing in this case is factual, in my opinion, it's hard to go based off of the discovery if everything is orchestrated and it's one big story. There's no point in me going into the discovery and delving into that, and trying to prove anything. Plus, not only that, we only have half the evidence, and we're not going to be able to solve a case with only half the evidence. And that evidence, we don't even know if that's factual. So, unfortunately, again, with the way they scrub the information from the internet with all these other cases that have happened before this case, it makes it very difficult to prove what I'm saying. But my proof is in the patterns. And when things keep happening the same over and over and over again, that's when it becomes less coincidental and more on purpose, and less conspiratorial, in my opinion. So, and that's the thing, is they're not hiding it. They're not hiding this stuff whatsoever. You just have to know how these people work and how they love putting their breadcrumbs and their Easter eggs and and hopefully their symbolism will be their downfall. That's what I'm hoping. But they're clever. They're clever. You know, right when you think that you know what they're doing, I feel like they're always just like 10 steps ahead. So. Hey, Capri. And I don't know, that poll should shut off, but I deleted it, so hopefully it will stop. That probably wasn't the best idea. Sorry, that's annoying. And in my video that I played earlier, that news reporter, when Chris was giving his interview on the porch, pleading for the safe return of his family, I mean, disregard everything that Chris was saying, how he looked guilty. It doesn't concentrate on what that reporter is asking, right? She literally says, so did Shanann go to, and then she stops abruptly, completely changes her question up. Like, so she was, from what I can tell, was going to ask Chris about Shanann going to North Carolina, right? So did Shanann go to where'd you get that shirt? Wait, what? Why did you start asking Chris a question about Shanann? Stop, completely dead stop your question and then say, where did you get that shirt? Why does it matter where Chris got his shirt from? Why do you care where Chris got his shirt from? How is that going to help him, you know, at the time of this interview, at that moment, how is that going to help him or anybody else find his missing family? Asking this guy where he got his shirt from. It's so, like, blatantly, like, obvious. I don't want to say blatantly obvious, but, like, at the time when I first heard that, I knew it was weird, and I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why she had done that, even though I knew it was weird. But then, you know, further down the road, it finally hit me, and I'm like, and that's when I found all the, you know, how they are literally telling us this whole thing's a lie by incorporating that Lee name and the lie word or variation into several proper nouns and other words as well. And I don't know how many times I've heard someone say, oh my God, Chris wore that North Carolina shirt 2 days in a row. Like, he didn't even switch his clothes. Like, come on, man. Sound like Biden. Come on, man. But he wore that, in my opinion, that shirt 2 days in a row because they want to subliminally tell us what they're doing because they believe in karma. And if they tell us what they're doing and we're too stupid, this is their theory. This is their, you know, what they believe. If we're too stupid to realize it, then that's our own fault and they no longer have bad karma on their hands. It's messed up, but that's what they believe. Hello? Hello?
When you're your car jack.
Oh my gosh.
It smells whatever.
Okay, that was weird. It just starts playing all of a sudden. I don't know why the chat's not working. That's really annoying. Nothing ever goes right. Okay. So when I finally came to that conclusion about the Lee name, all the Lee names in the case, and found how they were incorporating them all into these, you know, like North Carolina, Greeley, there's several others, but I don't want to name them right now, or list them. But it made sense that she would ask that question. So pretty much what happened, in my opinion, is she fudged up her lines, right? She started asking the other question when that wasn't the time to do it. And she's like, oh, wait, where'd you get that shirt? And Chris is like, oh, yeah, it's my favorite shirt. Shanann got it for me. It's my favorite. My favorite North Carolina shirt that I wore 2 days in a row. And he kind of like pulls down on it, you know, and then it's like you see the camera in the frame and you see right there, boom, North Carolina. So I'm like, holy shit, it totally makes sense now. I knew it was weird before, but now it makes sense why this reporter would specifically ask a question like that, even though it has nothing to do and it's not relevant to what was going on at the time, or like, because asking where he got his shirt from does not help find missing, you know, his missing family. Where'd you get that shirt? Like, really? That's how like sometimes ridiculous it is. They do stuff like that, but they get away with it because, you know, the majority of people aren't going to question it. And why would you, right? They wouldn't. Unless you know how these people operate and how they love their little tricks and their symbolism and their subliminal messages, and how they like to tell us what they're doing at that time as well as what they plan to do in the future. And I know this sounds crazy if you're just now or you're new to my channel, but I assure you it is not as crazy as it sounds. So again, yeah, it's like one of those things. So the reporter comment or question, and then Tammy asking Chris if he heard about the Bennett murders in Aurora, and then you have Coder and Tammy asking Chris about the books he read, and then that whole Capitol riot thing happened where people end up losing their lives. And it just so happens that Chris read a book that was by Margaret Truman titled murder at the Capitol or murder on Capitol Hill or something like that. How is that even possible considering all of the other connections? And then Shanann's holding a magazine that says the Great Reset, or that says time for a reset. How many times have we heard over the past year, once this whole virus thing started, it's time for a reset. It's called the Great Reset. Reset, 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 Great Reset. Dark winter, dark winter, dark winter. All these power outages. I mean, if you guys think that law enforcement and the government are capable of covering just a cover-up, it's really not all that, it wouldn't be that hard to believe that they would be able to pull something like my theory off. You know what I mean? And it's really, really not that difficult. I know that a lot of people think that, that so many people would have to be involved and so many people would have to be in the know, but they really don't to pull something like this off. You really don't. But they do take years in advance. The bigger ones are planned several years in advance. There's been a couple events where they've been planned over 10 years in advance, if not more. And that's why there's more than one agenda when it comes to these cases. They're not going to go through all this trouble and incorporate all their little clever connections and predictive programming to potentially gain just one thing. There's going to be several things to gain from taking the time to do all that. So it's not only because the karma, Lutia. No, it's not just the karma. There's also a theory that they are trying to essentially condition us so that when the event does happen, we will subconsciously accept it, no matter how crazy it might seem. Because that's the thing. It's subliminal, and you're not going to know that it's happening even when it does happen. That's how they condition us. And so there's two reasons why. Another reason why, and this is just specifically with their little clues and breadcrumbs and stuff. Another reason is because it's mockery. They're mocking us. They're putting it in plain sight for us to see, because they know that the majority of people are never going to know or notice. And even if everybody did notice, it doesn't matter, because they can do it legally. The Smith Modernization Act of 2012 made it legal for the mainstream media, the government, and law enforcement to legally push propaganda and lie to the public, no matter how big or how small the story is. So they can legally make up and orchestrate an entire homicide case, and we cannot get mad about it. We would have no right, because they can legally do it. They've been doing it for years before that Smith Modernization Act of 2012 came out or was passed. They were doing it way before that illegally, but now they can legally do it. So, and we can't retaliate or anything. We have no say in the matter. And I don't know why that stupid Streamlabs thing is still going on. Just ignore it. Oh, okay. I just turned it off. It says use repeat message. No, we don't want to do that. Okay, it should be shut off now, hopefully. And yeah, through the lens of, another advertisement, another publicity stunt for Amazon. They're all in cahoots, all these companies, all these major corporations. Lavelle, their sales skyrocketed after the event. By Shanann having her profile, her Facebook, made public for, millions of people to see. What a great way to promote Lavelle for free. I mean, maybe they had to pay something. Maybe they had to pay the ones who are in control of this narrative. I don't know. But I just know that that's a great publicity stunt on their part. I mean, people watch Shanann's videos over and over and over again. You know how many views that her videos have had on just YouTube alone? You couldn't look anywhere without seeing or hearing something about Thrive or Lavelle. Nicole Atkinson had 2 Thrive patches on. Nicole Kessinger was even talking about Thrive. And it doesn't matter if she was saying it in a negative way. People are still, out of curiosity, going to try it. Or even just talk about it. Just talking about it, going about the case and going, oh my God, and the mistress said that it's not good. And then maybe that person that was told that, they don't care what their friend is saying about it or what the mistress says about it. Maybe they just want to try it for themselves. Maybe they think for themselves, right? It's just, it's genius, in my opinion, what they did. And of course, I don't want to, toot their horn, but, hey, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. That's fun to say. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. So, you have Lavelle, and then, which is major, you have Comcast and Xfinity from Nate's that got free publicity. You have just whatever, Ford, Chris's truck, his work truck. You have Lexus. You have Vivint. You have Ring Doorbell. You have, again, Amazon, like Through the Lens mentioned. I don't know, who else? YouTube, Google, Dr. Phil, everyone else that benefited from this case. You said what before? Just Swamplower throws arms up. I'm just trying to show you guys this stuff because, one of the reasons is because I don't want, I hate seeing so many people that are following this case be deceived and lied to, not only by the ones in control of the narrative, but by other channel creators, just a few of them specifically, not necessarily all of them. There are still some genuine channel creators. As far as I know, I always don't trust anyone fully 100%, and that's unfortunate, but you can't anymore these days. You just really can't, in my opinion. So now, whether or not it be because they are plants and they are controlled opposition here to distract and steer people in the opposite direction from the actual truth of this case, or to keep people interested in the case, to distract from other things going on in the world that they should be focused on, or whether it be to make money because they know that it brings in views and the Watts is a hot topic. Either way, I don't like to see people being deceived, and that sucks, but I can't make anybody believe me. I can't make anyone see what I'm seeing. They have to want to see it for themselves and do this research and now if it does seem as though there's a lot of people in this true crime community that really, in my opinion, they just want the end result that they want, or they want to know what the juiciest drama is with Kessinger. And as last time I checked, I didn't think that true crime was a drama community. I thought it was to discuss topics and cases, to try to figure out why these individuals do such horrific things and what drives them to do it, and not hear about what People Magazine or Daily Mail has to say about what Chris supposedly did with his Vaseline and his boxer shorts in prison. It's just so ridiculous. It's literally a freak show, and it is really frustrating for me, and you guys have probably noticed it in the last couple of my live streams, but there's nothing I can do about that. But you just, and again, I can't tell you like who you should and should not listen to, or that you should listen to me over anybody else, because again, that would be going against my motto to think for yourself. So it's just my only advice would to take anything anyone says with a grain of salt until they can back it up with some sort of evidence. Just because they say it, in my opinion, that doesn't make it true or doesn't make it okay. And if you're being blocked, I've said this before, but if you're being blocked or you're being muted in a chat, and you're being censored, that should be a huge red flag. I don't block anybody in my chats unless they're being completely just out of line and derogatory or whatever, or insulting. But yeah, if you're being blocked or for just simply asking questions or just stating your opinion, then again, that should give you your answer right there as far as whether or not you should trust the person that you're listening to or whoever's stream that is or channel. Yeah, that's weird too, through the lens. I don't know. Strange, especially since a lot of them put it right there on their chest. I don't know. It's interesting. So do you guys have any questions? I'll do my best to try to answer them for you on here. Again, I'm limited to what I can say, and apparently DLive is on another censorship kick, because I was in the middle of a live stream yesterday and they ended my stream. Not sure why. Apparently it was for copyright, but I was playing an independent documentary video, so I haven't had a chance to appeal it yet, so I'll keep you updated on as far as that goes. And I was in DLive timeout for 2 hours, so I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's not going to be that way for long. Even on DLive, they will find a way to censor myself and other people that are trying to get the truth out there. Wait, who got muted? Am I still live? I can't tell. It says my stream health is good. It doesn't say excellent, it's good. So it says I'm still connected, but did somebody get muted or something in the chat? After I just got done saying that I don't block anyone, but I mean, I didn't. Oh, you're okay. You're talking about the inside joke with the DLive, and you're muted. So yeah, do you guys have any questions? If not, I could just keep rambling, and that's not what I want to do. And I could, and I listen to all these other live streams, these channel creators that have 900 people in their chat, 700 people in their chat, completely just so manipulative and so just full of Kessinger poop. It's insane. And just watching it and seeing, you know, like at least 95% of the people in those chats just completely agreeing with and believing everything they're saying without ever asking a question or trying to research what it is that they're being told as factual. It's crazy to me, and it's scary at the same time. But my point was, I could sit here and I could say this is not true what they're saying, this is not true what they're saying, but it would be exhausting. I mean, it's all the time. And even if I did, people are going to believe whoever they want to believe. So I've learned that debunking things they're just a waste of time, and to concentrate on the facts and the patterns in this case. The Smith Modernization Act, Callie. And one of the channel creators, they don't even hide the fact that they're manipulative, and a lot of the people, they don't even care. They're like, so what? We like watching them. I'm like, okay. If you like to be manipulated, then that's fine. But I don't know. It's just crazy to me. And if you have to pay to get information after they're saying that they're only here for the truth, that should be another huge red flag, you guys. I mean, honestly. I mean, there's some people out there, they're just really good liars. You know what I mean? They are good with words, something that I'm not. They'll tell you what you want to hear. They will, talk their way out of whatever. And they're just really, really good at it. That's why you need to ask questions. Ask them to prove it. Ask them to prove what they're saying. Just because they say, I am almost positive that there's an investigation going on, or I'm almost or I'm 110% sure in my opinion that there's an investigation going on, prove it. Prove that's all it's doing, is just telling people what they want to hear and giving people false hope. And just because you say it's in your opinion, it doesn't make it okay, like I said earlier. When has anything that any of these channel creators, or not any of them, but a lot of specific channel creators that have come up with all these different theories, has anything ever come from them? Breaking news. I got the breaking in, the info that nobody else has, and this theory and that theory and this theory. But what has anything ever come from it? Ever? But if everyone knew that they were being manipulated, then that person or whoever's doing the manipulating, they wouldn't be very good at it, right? So that's the whole point of manipulation. And I'm not saying that, not to believe anybody ever again, ever, but just take things with a grain of salt, like I said, until they can give you some sort of, if they're claiming it as factual, ask them to back up what they're saying. And if they say again, like, oh, in my opinion, that still doesn't make it okay. Like I said, it's crazy to me. So no questions. No one in here has questions. 26 of you, and 25. One of them is probably me, but Swamp Lover, why do so many people even care about this case and put so much energy into it? Because it's done that way on purpose. It's the psychological aspect of it. It draws people in. That's why so much information was released. That's why the body cam footage, and that's why the case is so horrific, because it pulls at heartstrings. And then you have Shanann's Facebook being made profile, and people watch her videos all day and several times, and then they feel like they know Shanann. It felt inviting watching her whole life play out, right? That's why this hold on. That's why the psychological aspect of these cases, I can't say the other way around, the other part of it, or the other way of wording it that I would like to. They are, the psychological aspect of it is brilliant. It works, and they've been doing it for a long time, so they know what triggers people. They know what's going to pull people in. They know that a lot of people think with their emotions, so if they make it more horrific, they're going to think with their emotions, and they're not going to think logical. All logical is going to go out the window. Then you have all the questions that they left us with. More questions than answers. So what do we do as humans? It's human nature. If we can't get the answers to the that we need from the actual source, then what do? We're going to try to do whatever it takes and come up with as many theories or whatever to find the answers ourselves. And that's what people have been doing for 2.5 years, trying to find out what the heck happened with this case, because law enforcement is not giving us the answers. The government's not giving us the answers. Chris isn't giving us the answers, right? That's never going to happen. So we as humans are trying to put the pieces together, and all the inconsistencies and all the holes in the narrative, because they're not providing it for us. And so we will come up with every theory in the book until we can find some sort of answer. But then it never happens, right? Because how could it? We don't have enough evidence. We don't have all of the evidence. So it's done that way on purpose. And that's why, if you want to psychologically captivate people, I don't know if that's the best word to use, but to pull people in and get them interested in the case, what do? You release a buttload of information to the public for no apparent reason. And then you don't redact anybody's names. And so then now you have all these people that are searching everyone involved. Where do they live? Who do they, could they have been part of the murders? Could they have helped? They seem suspicious. Troy McCoy went back for the wrench. Jimbo definitely was involved, but we don't even know if Jimbo even really exists. Yeah, we got some pictures, but how do we know that's really, really Jimbo? There's little tricks that they use, and they're brilliant, but it's done on purpose. That's why so many people are infatuated with this case. That's why so many people cannot pull away from it. Because it's done that way on purpose, and that's what I'm trying to show people. I'm trying to show that this doesn't happen. This doesn't normally happen in real life. They don't stop investigating a case just because somebody confessed. What if Chris decided, and based on the official narrative, what if Chris decided he wanted to appeal his plea deal within the 45 days that he has, or whatever? I think it's 45. Might even be something else, but within the 45 days, or with the time frame that he had from his appeal, and say, I take it back. I want to go to trial. I want a fair trial from a jury of my peers, right? How would they be able to do that when, one, they never sealed off the crime scene? Everything's contaminated. Chris's work truck is sold off. It's auctioned off. Survey 319's freaking demolished. You don't just stop investigating just because someone pleads guilty. You have to assume that it could possibly be appealed and it could go to trial, or if there's no stipulation, or not stipulation, but what is it? No whatever on murder charges, then how can you just stop? Every day that goes by, that's more and more evidence that can either be tainted or destroyed, or the more time that goes by is when, witnesses forget things and they're not as reliable because their memory gets foggy, or that's more time for people to come up with some sort of story or a lie. Like, it's not real life. It's really not. Have you looked into Alexis Sharkley? I did a little bit when it first came out. I immediately saw red flags with that case as well. I haven't heard anything since, or a lot about it anyways, since they said that her body was found. Is there any new information on that, Gwen? No, I'm not saying that the Watts are not real. I'm saying they're definitely real people. But yeah, there's several red flags that I noticed in that Sharkey case that are in the Watts case as well. What's done on purpose? The amount of information that was released in this case was done on purpose. It's not done. It wasn't done for because they were looking out for us or because they were trying to be transparent. It's done that way on purpose so that it pulls people in, and so that people get hooked on the case. I've seen it before. Yeah, that's weird too, through the lens. And Kelly Advocate, yeah, there's several people that know the Ruseks, but that doesn't change my outlook on the case or my theory. To me, it just says that you know them. I don't. That doesn't change my outlook on it at all. There are similarities. I don't know much about it. The MLM and yeah, that's true, Gwen. Oh, is that what they're saying, that she was strangled? And do you know the Ruseks personally, Kelly? Like, have you known them for years and have actually met them in person? Or do you know them from the case? I'm just curious. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was, the Watts case was orchestrated. I'm not saying that the people involved are not real, or that there's some sort of holograms. They're definitely real people. But what I'm saying is that this case was orchestrated to push several agendas onto the public. And I've mentioned and listed those many, many times. So you've actually met them personally, like in real life, like in real life. Or did you meet them through the case after the fact? And even if, let's say, even if someone said, I've known the Ruseks for years, and my daughter went to school with Shanann or something, it still would not, it doesn't prove that doesn't prove anything to me, that by saying I know them, even if someone really did know them personally, it doesn't change anything. I'm not understanding what do you mean real life? Obviously they're real people. No, I'm not saying that the Ruseks or the Watts are not real. I don't think I ever even used the word fake, to be honest with you. Oh, happy birthday to your grandson, Monica. I don't want you to feel unwelcome at all. I actually do. I know exactly who you are, and I'm actually blocked on your channel. So I know how it feels to, I guess, feel not wanted in a chat in somebody's channel, but I want people to ask questions, and I don't censor people on my channel. Again, like I mentioned earlier, unless they are just straight out rude, and just clogging up the chat. But no, I don't agree in censorship. So, I mean, I don't agree. I don't believe in censorship. I think I asked Frank Rusek if they donated the money that was raised to, or donated the money that Lauren Arnold started a Facebook, I don't know what they call it on Facebook, but like a GoFundMe of Facebook when Shanann and the girls went missing. So I asked, I wasn't rude at all. I just said, did you donate that the money that was raised for Shanann and the girls when they were missing? And excuse me, I think Frank Rusek said yes, and then I think I was blocked. So I figured I'd probably only get one question, and that was that I chose that one. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was Frank Rusek, but that's the only question I got before I was blocked. So I think I still have the screenshots of it somewhere, but I'm always taking screenshots. I have so many screenshots from this case. It's crazy. No, I know Through the Lens, but I really don't mind explaining. Because I don't really mind it at all. I don't have anything to hide. I don't, yeah. All right, well, if there's no further questions, then I'm going to end this now. I'm going to try and do these, or keep doing these. I don't know about more, but because I'll do these live streams every day if I have to, even if I'm talking about the same things and repetitive. If someone doesn't want to hear me being repetitive, they don't have to. But again, I'm not going to have. I mean, I might have some new information here and there, but I don't have crazy wild theories. I'm never going to change my theory. I never have. So you're not going to get these I believe this and I believe that and whatever theories. I'll just keep continuing to talk about the red flags and the connections, because those are the most important as far as my theory goes. So I will do it until I beat it into your heads. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I will plan on doing these. I don't know what's going on with DLive. I will keep you guys posted as far as that goes. If you have Discord, please join my Discord. That way you can ask me questions on there as well. You'll be able to get a hold of me faster on there than you would through my email, because I'm not very good at checking my email, and it's just easier on Discord. So, and you can also talk about the case on there as well with other people, and not have to worry about being censored or attacked. So, and it should, it's supposed to, except it's not really working either. I think I went live on DLive yesterday, and Tidy Labs finally sent the notification that I was live about, I don't know, like 45 minutes after the fact. I mean, they did send it, so that's good, but it was very late. But if you do join the Discord, you should at some point get notifications for when I go live, since I can't rely on DLive or YouTube to do that for me. So that being said, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you for hearing me out, and for your support. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys next time. I'm sorry about all the test streaming. Okay, bye.